Greetings all, this is the One Nerd, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the worst unboxing ever. Today we're going to be unboxing something a little bit different, although still on brand for what I've done previously. Today I just got the full shipment here of the first set of AEW Micro Bralwers. What are Micro Brawlers? Well, that's a very interesting question. To answer that, we're going to have to actually unbox these so I can actually show you what these are. So let's go ahead and do this here. AEW is really blowing up, and this new set of, I guess you could call them figures, collectibles. Let's say collectibles, not really figures. But let's start with the first one here and showing these off. This is a Micro Brawler. They're just little, I guess you could call super deformed versions of different wrestlers. There are, of course, other versions of these wrestlers, ranging from old school to New Japan to recent indie guys that you can check out over at ProWrestlingTees.com. Normally, they are available in their Pro Wrestling Crate, which I'll leave a link to in the description. But now they've started to do more single ones here, where they will sell a specific Micro Brawler for a certain time. It's like a made-to-order thing. And in this case, they've done doing versions of the AEW wrestlers. Now, these are not made to order, at least not these versions right now. This version that I just got in these boxes were for a limited time order, get them first. And I was part of that initial first printing, but they are also available at shopaew.com, which I'll also leave a link to in the description, so you can check them out there. But let's actually take a look at these here. The first one we got here in the first wave is Hikaru Shida, now former AEW Women's Champion. Now, what's great with the packaging on these now that they've done, originally these were just like regular. First, when these first came out, these were like in little bags, just bags that had like little cardboard things stapled to them. Very cheap, very understandable for these types of figures. Now that they've gotten more collectible, which you can blame a certain Matt Cardona on, I believe, they have upped the packaging on these a lot, and not only up packaging, because when these first came out, it was just kind of standard cards that you'd have to peel the little bubble off of in order to get them off. But now they've switched to these, which make sure that you can easily just take the card off, take the figure out of, and then you can put back together here. In order to, if you want to display them, you can keep the card in pretty good condition in case you ever want to display them again, or if you ever want to sell them. Again, that's the whole point of this, is that you can, keep its value in case you want to sell them at some point. I'm not usually a guy like that. I don't usually sell stuff unless I really, really need to. So I will keep these cards though, because they look nice, and in case I ever need to move, there's a good place to store these. Right now, we're just going to be looking at the packaging, though. For Hikaru Shida, they actually have gone against the regular formula in this one. Usually, there's like a clippable, savable card on the back here that is just like a picture of the brawler that you can collect, like a little trading card, which I never got. This one actually shows stats, actually shows the real wrestler there. I actually prefer these a little bit better than just a card that I'm never going to clip out that just shows a picture of the figure that I already have on the front. I also want to commend, since we're talking about packaging, I want to commend Pro Wrestling Tees on the way that they package these. They clearly know that people are really valuing these as collectibles. Again, I'm not a keep it in the package guy. I'm a let it breathe guy. So I don't really need all of this extra packaging, but as long as they're not charging me extra for it, then I guess it's fine, because I don't really care if there's like a little crease or a little bend and whatever. But Some people do, so I appreciate that they went that extra mile. I always see horror stories about people, especially if you order these Micro Brawlers from Impact. A lot of the times they'll come with no packaging material whatsoever. They'll just throw the figure in there and just, you know, not care. So I appreciate that Shop AEW / Pro Wrestling Tees actually goes the extra mile for this. Speaking of, the next we have is Le Champion, Chris Jericho. Look at the back there. I have no idea if this is actually showing up in frame with the camera. So that's the worst unboxing ever experienced you're getting right there. Next we have our John Moxley. Yeah, I will comment on these figures when we actually get to that point. Right now, we're just actually looking at the packaging. And remember, these are, even though I bought these when they were just limited, in a limited time, it was just to get them first. You can still get them right now at shopaew.com. I'll probably say that a couple more times. Next, we have Orange Cassidy. And unlike with the other figures with AEW and what have you, there were no chases or what have you with this, although I'm sure that they'll do that going forward. Next, we have Darby Allen, another recently ousted champion. And speaking of a currently crowned champion, we have Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. And last, but certainly not least, we have our really great tribute to the late, great Brody Lee, the Exalted One. All right. Now that we've actually taken these out of their initial package, I'm going to take these out of their little collector's packages, and we'll actually be able to see what they look like up close. Already looking at some, I have a few thoughts, but nothing too extreme. But I'll go ahead and look through these. In the meantime, why don't you enjoy these commercials?
After these messages, we'll be right back.
When it seems like all is lost, when it feels as if you have no hope, when you are outnumbered, overpowered, and they've got you cornered, that's when you realize your last best hope is you. Halo, Combat Evolved, rated M for mature.
Oh yeah, I'm feeling the love.
You feel the glove. But what's your name?
Gary Payton, but they call me the glove.
How you feeling tonight?
Yo, I'm feeling the love.
Feel the love, glove.
Yo, Sonic! Man, stay off the light speed.
My bad.
Sonic Adventure on Sega Dreamcast. It's thinking.
All right, and we are back. Switching up the background here to something that's a little bit more appropriate for the setting, showing off a few more of the Micro Brawlers that I do have that I keep on this shelf here. These are just my Legend / Hardcore / already AEW before AEW sort of thing. There's a few more down there. New Japan ones as well. They did have these over here, which is where I'm going to be displaying, where they had a few AEW before AEW was really officially a thing. It was sort of a thing, but kind of before like the whole licenses. One of the things that I had heard initially when AEW was coming out with their figure deal with Jazzwares is that they had exclusivity so that they couldn't do micro brawlers like this anymore. So I always thought that we couldn't get any more of these figures. You can see that I already had JR, MJF, and the Lucha Bros, but they've also had ones with the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, although they've made very few of those, so they are very rare at the moment. But with these new AEW ones, we might see more of those in the future. But for the moment, let's take a closer look at these figures here, or these collectibles. Again, I keep wanting to call them figures. They're not really figures. Again, they are collectibles, sort of like the Pops of the wrestling world, even though Pops do have wrestling versions, but and whatever. We have, starting here, we have a Hikaru Shida. Show a good look at her front and back. She's got her Tifa-inspired wrestling attire on with her kendo stick. Obviously, because of the way it's made, it's a little bent coming out of the package there. But you know, that's just how it is with this kind of material. And overall, a good-looking figure. Obviously, the face is a little off, but this is this is sort of an exaggerated style, so, I kind of get it. Kind of understand the need for that. Let's grab another. You know what? Let's do the other female in this. Why not? Especially since she kind of has the same problem. Next, we have Britt Baker. Made sure to accentuate the abs there, and they also have, kind of like with Shida, they also have the detail there of the fishnets on her legs. Even though the way that it looks, it kind of just looks like she has that's just part of her skin, which, again, exaggerated style. At least it looks more like the wrestler than like a Pop version, let's say. With her, she kind of looks like a Long Island medium sort of type. I don't know. For some reason, like the way that she looks, she kind of makes me seem like she's gonna, like tell my fortune, but clearly she's not a medium. I don't know. She's just giving off that vibe. It's just weird. But again, exaggerated style. They all have an exaggerated style. Let's see here. Who do we have next? Let's do this one. Going to slide out of the packaging. All right. Next we have Orange Cassidy with his classic attire, his hand in his pocket, of course, and his classic attire of himself on his own shirt. Got some rips and tears in the knees, which is a nice detail. Back, not much to see there, with his, of course, slacked thumbs up. Everybody has a very long face in this. They either have, nobody has a neck. Everybody has some big chins sometimes. There's certainly no exception with Orange Cassidy. And speaking of somebody with a big chin, how about we do this guy next? We got John Moxley. Again, I know that that's exaggerated a bit more by the beard. We got the nice looking Mox on the back, actually. And let's see. Let's look at one of my favorites. The one I was most looking forward to out of this particular lot was Darby Allen. I think Darby Allen works very well with like any kind of action figure because he does have that action figure looking vibe because of the face paint. Some good little details on there, including a little quote there. Let's see if we can't. There we go. Quote on his chest there. Let's look at another one here that I think falls into the category of that exaggerated face. I mean, I guess you could say there's a little bit of a likeness, but, you know. I do like the addition of the actual raised spikes on his jacket. Got the little scarf there. Turn over, you see Jericho on the back with his ponytail there. And last, of course, we have our tribute figure, which now we're starting to see a little bit more Brody Lee merchandise, because obviously that takes a while. We just got announced some Brody Lee actual action figures, which I'm looking forward to owning / pre-ordering. Have the Brody Lee Exalted one, which of course with this being Wave 1, with these doing so well so far as Micro Brawlers always do, hopefully we'll be seeing the entire Dark Order in Micro Brawler form at some point. I think this is one of my favorite figures out of it here, because there's just clearly so much detail. And of course, you know, he has good ring attire and everything going for him. All right, let's readjust on here, see what we're going to do with this. All right, overall thoughts. I did enjoy getting these figures. I think these were a good way to go with this. I am glad that AEW was able to license these particular figures with Pro Wrestling Tees and all of that in order to get these out, because I do feel as though since we've already gotten some AEW guys right now in Micro Brawler. Like I said, we have our MJF here and our JR. This was a good opportunity to get more of these. I think this was the right move for this. So I'm very happy that there's not some sort of exclusivity in here. Although, you know, they can clearly work around these exclusivities, because we got some legends here who they were still making WWE figures of. So, you know, there's no exclusivity in this in a lot of occasions. But I am looking forward to seeing more of these. AEW has a very interesting roster, and just like seeing them in action figure form, I am looking forward to seeing them in more Micro Brawler form, either in individual sets like this, packs, or in the Pro Wrestling Crate. If you do want to check out these figures, they are about $15 thereabouts, which some people, you know, for what you're getting, since they are just a little bit of a, you know, collectible. I have heard some people that are a little aghast by that. You know, they kind of plays them off of it, which I can understand. You know, I'm not going to judge anybody for not wanting to pay money for a collectible. You know, I'm not going to judge anybody for that. I mean, I've certainly not bought collectibles before. I'm sure you noticed some of the Major Wrestling figures that I have for the Micro Brawlers. There are some that I have not bought with them, mostly because I did not have the opportunity, because they make them so scarce, but also they also make them very expensive, because the Major Wrestling Figure podcast guys, not to, you know, bash them or anything. I don't want them to ban me more from their group, but they know they have an audience, and they are willing to pay that amount. So, you know, good on them. They're able to get people to pay that much for those individual figures, then good on them. Again, I'm not gonna you do what you can. You do what you can to get your money. You know, not gonna say boo for anybody getting their money. But if you are interested in getting these figures, they are available today. They actually just dropped today, so it's actually perfect timing for this particular video. So if you're interested, go to shopaew.com. I'll leave a link in the description. Or again, you can just go to shopaew.com. Check out these figures. If you want all of them, then, you know, collect them all. If not, then you can just get your favorites. Until next time, whenever I do some sort of unboxing, or kind of coming up with another new show idea, theme idea. So look forward to that. Hopefully, if I actually have the time to to do it. But until next time, this is the One Nerd, and I hope you have a good one, guys. Seriously.